back to my channel. I'm going to be doing the July reading wrap-up, and I read a total of 10 books. 6 of them were all in 1 week from doing Booktubeathon. The rest, I just didn't have like a extremely successful or motivated month until Booktubeathon, so thanks for that. One of the books is a little tiny little book, so I don't know how much that counts, but I'm gonna count it. 2 were ebooks, and then the rest were print copies. So first one that I read was sent to me from, I don't remember if it was the publisher or if it was the author who sent it. I can't remember. But it's called 10 Tips for the Frazzled Parent. It was a book sent to me to do a review on my blog. And it was a really cute little book. It has cute little... To me, this is something that would be good to send or to give as a gift at a baby shower or to a new parent or something like that. Because it's just a cute little tips. Something cute. Then I pulled up the pictures on my iPad so that I could show the cover of the book because, like I said, the next 2 were ebooks. This book is called Harmless by Catherine Dell. And this, I think I gave, I'm trying to remember, I gave 4 stars maybe, either 3 or 4 stars. It was pretty good. It's a YA. It followed this girl who, her parents had divorced and she moved to a different place, new school and everything, and her brother had passed away before, and she didn't feel at home the different times that they moved, her and her mother moved around, so she didn't typically unpack her bedroom. She had a box, a wooden box that her grandmother gave her, and it had little figurines, I guess, inside of it, and she had friends over at her house. She lived with her mother and her grandmother. And one of her friends found the box and asked her, what is this about? And she explained that her grandmother said you make wishes on it, things like that. So they made wishes on the different figurines. Each of her friends made a wish, and her made a wish, and the wishes maybe come true, maybe do not. So the box is called a spirit box, and it tells basically the legend of the Wendigo or however you pronounce that. But anyways, it turned out to be a better book than I thought it was going to be. I mean, there were still some things that I didn't love, but that's going to be in most books. But I mean, it turned out pretty good. So Harmless. The next book I read was also one that was sent to me from either the author or the publisher, I can't remember, to review for my blog, and it is called Operation Hailstorm by Brett Arquette. This book, I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars, and here's the problem. I really enjoyed it, while reading it. Right after I got done reading it and I started reading other books, it's the kind of book, for me anyways, that became somewhat forgettable just because it wasn't something that I would normally read. It wasn't something I would typically read. It's about this guy who, if I'm remembering correctly, his family was killed, and so he kind of devoted his life to capturing terrorists, and he was an IT type of guy. He knows all the technical stuff. And so he's really good at his job, but he devoted his life to do that. Where he is, a bunch of, I guess, technical prodigy type of people are the ones who help him. I mean, it ended up being pretty good, but it's not my typical cup of tea, but it was well written, and it was an exciting read. It was just something that I don't typically read, so it ended up being a wee bit forgettable, I guess. So the next 6 books are ones that I read during Booktubeathon, and the first one is Death by Roses by Vivian R. Probst, I guess is how you say it. This book It was okay. I think I would probably give it like 3 stars. It was just okay. It wasn't the best thing in the world. It wasn't exactly what I was thinking it was going to be. I was thinking that it would be like a funny take on, as weird as it sounds, like a funny take on a murder or whatever. Which, I mean, how can a murder be funny? But books. But it wasn't. It was like a reflection on her life, and I don't know. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and it just wasn't as good as I had hoped. It was okay. It was just okay. Next, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This, I don't know. I've had this book for over a year, like a year and a half, and I cannot believe it took me so long to read it. It was so good. So good. I'm not even going to tell you what it was about. I think everyone who watches anything related to BookTube knows what this is about. It's good. I loved it. Next, I read Gravity, a short story by Jessica Schaub. I don't know. I don't know what I thought it was going to be about, but it ended up being another pretty good book. It was decent. It was very short. It's the book that I read in one day, 113 pages. It was cute, and it kind of got your heart a little bit. It was about a kid who was in 8th grade, and his name was Jefferson, and he wanted to win. Like every year at school, the 8th graders got to paint a tile, like a ceiling tile, and they, the winner got a prize or whatever, and he wanted to win. And his best friend is named Caitlin, and her older brother he joined the military, and he ends up dying while he's overseas. And so it's about Jefferson's friendship with Caitlin. It's about helping her cope with the death of her brother, being there for her. It's really sweet and has a really good message. The ending was really good. It's a short read, but I recommend it. It was good. I'd probably give it 4, maybe 4.5. Nah, probably 4, just because it is younger. But it was good. Next, I read One for the Money by Janet Ivanovich. I'm doing really bad with names today. Well, I mean, I say today, but I think this is like a normal thing for me. Anyways, I have read this before, but for the challenge of read a book with the character that is different than you, I chose One for the Money. I've been wanting to read it again anyways, and this was a good opportunity. And I actually listened to the audiobook mostly. I read a little bit of it, but I listened to the audiobook, and it was, I mean, I always give this about 4 stars. I really like these books. I'm probably going to read the 2 for the Dough during the month of August. We'll see, but very good. I also read One Sip at a Time by Keith Van Sickle. This book met the challenge of read a book completely outdoors for Booktubeathon. I chose it because it's small. And it is about a couple who they decide to move to Province, and it's about their experiences living there, just different little things. Some of the chapters are extremely short. I mean, most of them are really short, but there are some chapters that's literally just like one little page. And it was pretty good. It was nonfiction. It ended up being pretty decent. It wasn't my favorite book ever. I'd probably give it like 3.5 stars. Next, I read Cold Summer. Let me tell you, there are times that I get books that are offered to me to review. I'll receive books and they're pretty good. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good book. I'll give it a fairly decent review and rating. And then there are books that make me just realize how lucky I am to receive free books to review, because this was spectacular. When I finished this book, I didn't even want to read anything else because I was like, nothing's going to be as good. I can't even imagine reading another book right now. I just want to keep reading this one over and over and over. It was so good. This book is about a boy named Cale who he is a time traveler, and he's only 17 in the book. He cannot control his time traveling abilities, so he can feel it coming on. He'll know when it's about to happen so that he can, like, you know, go off and not disappear in front of people. But he can't control where he goes. He can't control when he's going to go. There are times when he feels like he can hold it off a little while, and he holds it off for a bit, but he can never fully control. If he's gonna go, he's gonna go, basically. When he was 7, I think, is when it started. So he's been doing this for like 10 years. It's put kind of a wedge in his family. His brother and sister, they know, but his dad, he tried to tell him when he was little, his dad never believed him. So it's kind of put like a wedge in their relationship. It's so good. So a girl that he knew when he was younger that would come and visit, well, she would stay with her aunt and uncle every summer. She ends up moving in with her uncle, and she's known him since she was little. She would see him every summer. Her name is Harper. She ended up coming to live with her uncle, and she's excited to see Cale, but she can tell he's different. He's worn down. She doesn't know about his abilities, so that's a little twist in the story. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. You have to read it. You have to read this book. 5 stars. I'm not kidding. I guess there are probably a couple things that I'd be like, maybe I would change. So maybe 4.5, 4.75. I don't know. I love this book. It's so good. Oh, and he keeps going right now for like the past several months. Every time he travels, it takes him to World War II, and he's fighting in the war. And so he has PTSD, but he can't explain to people why he's feeling the things he's feeling, why he's going through the things he's going through, because they don't know he's ever been in a war. I'm telling you, you have to read this book. I want to read it over and over. It's probably my new, it's at least in the top 5 of my favorite books ever. And it is beautiful. Beautiful. This was sent to me from Skyhorse Publishing. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. Pick up this book. And the last one that I read in the month of July was supposed to be for my Booktubeathon week. And I mean, you can watch that wrap up because I failed. I did read 6 books, complete 6 challenges, but I did not read the 7th book and complete the 7th challenge, which it's not bad. But I was just really wanting to, do my first Booktubeathon. Great. It was okay. But anyway, so this book is Molly Bell and the Wishing Well by Bridget Garrity, I think. This is like a middle grade book. It's about a little girl who is, I believe, 11. Yeah, she's an 11-year-old girl, Molly Bell. And her mother died 2 years prior to this book. And her father is getting remarried. She's not exactly happy about it. When her father gets married and he's on his honeymoon, she goes to her grandparents' house along with her new stepbrother, who is, I think, 9. No, he's 6. 6-year-old, and he's annoying to her, and it's just about, there's a wishing well that her grandfather built years and years ago, and her mom and dad got married by that wishing well years before, and her aunt tells her about the well and tells her, well, your grandparents, you need to go see it and make wishes. And so it's about learning to live life the way it's given to you, but it's about her heartbreak and her experience finding the well and things like that. It was a pretty good book. I'd probably give it 3.5, 4 stars. Not that it was bad, just that I'm an adult reading, if I was younger, I probably would have loved this. If I was 11, I would be like, oh, it's a great book. And it's a beautiful cover. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it is super pretty. So it's a really good book for, middle grade. So that was my July wrap up. Had a great month. I think 10 books, right? 10 books, not bad at all. So thank you for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.